Here we go again. Yet another homicide in South Auckland, a fifth violent death in the area this year. A 14-year-old boy was murdered at his Justamere Place home in Weymouth last night. Now, the teenager was celebrating a friend's birthday when two unknown people arrived at the address. Police say he appears to have suffered blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Results of a post-mortem examination being carried out today should shed light on what, if any, weapons were involved. Our reporter Chris Lynch was at the press conference today. And Chris, good evening to you. What can you tell us? What are police saying here?
Good evening, Larry. Yes, well, Manukau police are promising yet another thorough investigation into the killing of this 14-year-old boy whose name has yet to be released. Now, the 14-year-old was killed in Weymouth last night while celebrating, as you say, a friend's birthday. Early this morning, Larry, I spoke to emergency services. They said they received a call from the dead boy's mother around 9 p.m. last night saying his son had been shot in the head. A slightly different story today at the media conference today. Detective Inspector John Tim says the boy and a group of his mates were partying outside his Justamere Place home when two unknown people arrived. He says there was some sort of scuffle during which the teen suffered fatal head injuries to the back of his head, described as blunt force trauma. Timms went on to say that the 14-year-old had been standing outside between his garage and the house when he received those fatal injuries. Also, a 13-year-old boy, his friend who was at the so-called gathering as opposed to a party, was with him at the time. He also received light injuries, but he didn't require any medical attention. In fact, he was okay. He was able to speak to police after the fatal attack. Also, Detective Inspector Tim said it's still unclear whether a gun was used. A pathologist did arrive at the scene last night and told the police it was unlikely a gun was involved, but today police said they're not ruling out a firearm. They're also saying they've spoken to 6 people who were at the home at the time of the attack, including several of the deceased friends. A couple of adults were at home at the time as well. They've been spoken to, but Larry, as yet, no arrests have been made.
What do we know about the offenders?
Police say they're hunting 2 people involved in this crime. We don't know their age. We don't know much about them. In fact, it seems that people at the house don't know much about them. It's thought they're not known to police or those at the gathering, but police are yet to confirm both these stories. They say it is possible, though, that other people are involved in this crime.
Do we know if drugs were involved?
Well, there's been talk that the acting mayor of Manukau is blaming drugs, but there's been no evidence of drugs, Larry. That was a claim that the house was where the boy died was a drug house. Police say the house was not known to them and no drugs were found at the property. Interesting, another councillor is coming out and saying that Weymouth is a very safe area. In fact, he describes it as an old, sleepy suburb with a great community spirit, but he does admit the area's had its fair share of criminal activity in the past to such an extent that residents have in fact lobbied police for more staff in the area.
Thank you for that report. That is Chris Lynch, our reporter, who was at the press conference.